Hey y'all, I know everybody is wondering what I was talking about earlier today about the situation that I had while driving with Uber. So, this is what happened. I got a call from a detective on my way to take my dog to his appointment. And the phone was on Bluetooth, so me and my daughter was in the car, and the detective said, "Hey, Miss Lawson," and I said, "Yes," and he said, "I need to discuss with you. This is Detective such and such. I need to discuss with you an altercation that happened." And I don't know his exact words, but I'm on the phone like, "Are you serious?" Now, I'm gonna do this like I haven't thought about how I'm going to explain this to you guys. So I wanted to just do like the movies do, and I want to tell y'all that part first, and now I'm going to go back to what happened. So basically, the night of New Year's Eve, and this is not the lady that threw up in my car. This is not her. But I had a lady, I had a person that I was picking up from um TGI Fridays. TGI Fridays off of Camp Creek. Okay, now I always clock in from my yard, my house, Hampton, Georgia. And so for people that have never taken Uber, let me just let y'all know how it works. I do not pick my rides. The app picks my rides. So I cannot pick who I am going to drive or any of that, okay? So the rides just come into you and you just go to that destination. And after you drop that person off, another ride comes in and you go to that destination. So after about the third or fourth ride, I ended up in East Point. That's where I'm from. Okay. No biggie. So mind you, the whole way, headed to East Point, I noticed that police officers were at gas stations with their lights on ready on New Year's Eve. They were on ready. So after I dropped off one person in East Point, I had another trip that came in and I had to pick her up from TGI Fridays. Now, if you follow me, you may have heard a portion of this story. So I pulled up to TGI Fridays, and I pulled up. The way I pulled up, my car, my window was facing TGI Fridays. I was facing TGI Fridays. So a lady comes out and she has two girls. They should have had either a car seat or a booster seat. They were maybe five or less. So anywho, my normal routine, I don't even let them enter my car. I don't even unlock the door. And so I rolled down the window, I cracked it, and I said, "Do you have booster seats?" I knew she didn't have any because she was coming out of a restaurant. So she said no. And so I said, "Well, before I could get my statement out, she said, "Well, are you going to or not?" So I let her know that I wasn't because, you know, there's no excuse. I don't owe her any excuse. I'm just not. So she said, "Well, we're only going back there." And, in my head, back there is a whole police precinct in the back of Camp Creek Plaza. So, and it doesn't even matter. You feel me? So, I told her I wasn't going to. So she said, "Okay." And so I canceled the ride, which I thought I canceled the ride, but apparently me and her both canceled at the same time. So they must have recognized her cancellation before they recognized mine. She took off walking away from Fridays, and I then took off to my next trip. I was on my next trip within 7 minutes, y'all. Within 7 minutes after that situation. So after a couple of rides, I ended up downtown somewhere, and I noticed, you know how when you get an email, it flashes up across your phone. So this email basically was from Uber. And I was thinking in my head, I had people in the car, and I said, "I know that just didn't say what I thought it said." I seen something about physical altercation. So after I dropped these people off, I parked, I turned my app off, and I looked at the email. So I'm going to share with y'all what the email said. So, it was 10:37, y'all, and I started at maybe about 8 o'clock. So this was I hadn't not too long ago got started. So the email said, "We received a report of a physical altercation on a record on a recent trip. We take matters like this very seriously. We want to maintain a safe environment for everyone using Uber. As a reminder, our community guidelines state any behavior or of a rider or driver partner involving violence, sexual misconduct, harassment, discrimination, or illegal activity while using Uber can result in immediate loss of the account." So I'm looking at this like, are you serious? So I've only been on the few trips I've been on, maybe 4 or 5 at this point. I know I can remember each and every trip, each and every person that has gotten in my car because we've had certain conversations. So everybody was satisfied. Um, Tips were given and everything. And I know that the only person that there was any type of situation with was this lady. So I responded back to Uber and I said, "You must have the wrong driver. I haven't had any issues with any of my drivers. Everyone have been pleased. The only trip I turned down was a lady with 2 kids and no car seats. She was at TGI Fridays and I canceled her trip. There was no altercation and I politely turned her down due to no car seat." So it kind of messed up my day, but I clocked on in because I had money to make. So my next trip, they was like, "Hey, how are you doing tonight?" And I said, "Man, y'all, I just got an email," and I told them what happened, and I told them, who I thought it was, who it had to have been, because that's the only issue I've had a problem with. They was like, "Oh my God, no." They were like so concerned. They was like, "We're so sorry that it has happened to you. We hope the rest of your night goes well." They were very concerned of what happened. So anywho, fast forward, so days later when I got this call from the detective, and I told him, I said, the only situation that happened to me that night was a lady that didn't have car seats, and I did not accept her route. I said, and that's what I do. And so anywho, he said, "Well, was that the only thing that happened?" And I said, "Yes." I said, I've been doing this for 3 years. I have about 3,000 or more trips, that I have, you know, done with Uber. And not only that, this is my livelihood, not just the person that I'm driving around. So, anywho, he was like, "Well, basically, the situation was up under investigation because this lady reported to Uber and the police department when she got home. She said that I physically attacked her. And this is all because she did not have car seats for her children." So I'm listening to the detective and I'm like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yes." I said, "I remember this situation clearly because it's the only one it could have been. I didn't take too many trips that night because someone else threw up in my car." And I told him, I said, see, a lot of people, what they do is when they're being charged a fee for a cancellation, they go ahead and they do what they have to do not to be charged those $3 or $4. But see, this right here ain't cool. And so he said, "So, what happened?" And I said, "Well, that's just it. She didn't have a car seat and her ride was canceled. Nothing more or nothing less." He said, "Well, you didn't know her?" I said, "Sir, I live in Hampton, Georgia. And I start from my home. I did not know this lady, and she didn't even get into my car. So basically, y'all, she told the officer that I jumped out of the car and attacked her, beat her up, okay? And she also told the officer, check this out. This finna trip y'all out. For real, for real. She told the officer that she didn't realize who I was until she got home. I said, well, who was I? He said, ma'am, are you talking to anyone right now at this time? I said, talking to anyone? Dating? No. He said she told him she did not realize who I was. After I attacked her, she didn't realize who I was till she got home. And that I am messing with her man. I said, you got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. I said, sir, I said, I'm really at a state of shock right now about this situation. Because if I seen this lady today, I wouldn't know her from a can of paint. He told me the guy name. He said, do you know an Anthony, what was the last name? Anthony, I can't remember right now, y'all. But when I remember, I'm going to let y'all know. He asked me, did I know an Anthony? And I forgot what the last name was. And I said, no. As a matter of fact, when I got off the phone with him, I looked through my 5,000 Facebook friends. And I had no Anthony, whatever the last name was, even in my Facebook friends. So this woman was on some Lifetime LMN type of mess where she was not going to be charged her $3 or $4. And she was really trying to incriminate me. And I even asked the officer, I said, well, maybe she took another trip that night. And when you go into your app, when you're going in to complain, you have to make sure that you're clicking on the right trip. Maybe she took another trip and maybe that happened, but it just was not me. So going forward, I contact Uber and I told them about the situation. And mind you, I had already told them about this situation when I went down there when the woman threw up in my car. I had discussed this with them as well before the detective even contacted me. And they told me, don't even worry about it, Ms. Lawson, because there's no evidence in the system. And I'm like, don't even worry about it. Like, for them to tell y'all something like this, and then y'all saying y'all will deactivate my account and it's all a lie, I want to worry about it. Well, anywho, after I got off the phone with the detective, I called Uber and I told them what happened. And they told me, to get me off of their back, they said, well, first, a lot of things are going around where people are in acting as though they're detectives and police. And I'm like, you know what? They right. What if this wasn't a police? Because I did mention it in a video. So I contacted. They said, well, because and they wouldn't call you and say this and say that. This is what they're telling me as if they're the police. So when I got off the phone with Uber, I contacted Atlanta Police Department, and surely enough, he was a detective. He was a detective. This was no lie, no joke. I contacted him days later when I didn't hear from him. And I said, hey, I want to know what's going on with this case. I even sent him screenshots. I said, look, I was on my next trip within the next 7 minutes. I said, so, I beat her up, jumped back in my car, and was on the next trip like nothing happened. Is that what she said? And then I coincidentally knew her and was sleeping with her man? He said, well, that's what she's saying. I said, well, these are the screenshots that let you know that I was on my next trip within the next 7 minutes. So I had not heard from him within the next couple of days. So I called him back and I said, what happens with this? Like, what do you do, when you find out someone is trying to incriminate someone like this? He said, well, he said it was all up to him. He said now what he could do is see, can he get a hold to the cameras at TGI Fridays? And I told him that's what you should do, because then you will see that she's lying. I said not only that, you should have asked her my height, what she thought I weighed, and how tall she thought I was, because guaranteed that'll be all wrong. And I told him, I said, well, because I'm a little lady, and I guaranteed she wouldn't have guessed my height nor my weight. And so, the next week, I called him and left a message, and he said, well, Ms. Lawson, don't worry about it, because what she's saying and you're saying is not adding up. So don't worry about it. But my thing is, I could have been locked up because this lady decided to lie on me because she had no car seat. And the guy name, I think, was Anthony Taylor. Anthony Taylor. If you know somebody that's dating somebody named Anthony Taylor, and she got 2 girls, they look like they was about the same age, that's who it was. Hit me up in the DM, because this ain't cool. And see, part of me wants to know what I can do. Can I press charges on this woman for trying to incriminate me? What if they would have just came to my house and locked me up? And I have kids. I have another job. I would have lost my job. What would have happened with my daughter? Like all of that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really trying to figure out what's best to do. Do I want to start back driving? It's so easy for people to just really lie on you like that, and for them to just, for him to tell me not to worry about it. I felt some kind of way, because no, I'm worrying about it. I'm not only worrying about that, I'm worrying about other people out there that people can lie on like this. Uber said that, if this was true, that they would deactivate her account. But how do I inform them that this is true if they're telling me not to worry about it? How can someone not worry about things like this when people are lying on them? So this is what happened to me, you guys. It happened before the lady threw up in my car. So my New Year's Eve, out driving, I was planning to drive from 8 to 8. Last year I made about $400. And so I wanted to try to, make the same thing happen, or even more. But I had some haters in the car with me, y'all. I had some haters in the car with me, man. And I just never have experienced anything like this in my life. If, I'm open to advice of what to do. Someone said in the comments, will it be on the news? I could contact the news, because I was actually thinking about it. I'm open to any advice of what to do with this situation, because it's just wrong. It's not me, and for someone to be that evil, where they'll just lie on someone because they don't have a car seat, because of their wrongs. It's just flat out wrong. So y'all, that's what I had to talk to y'all about. I'm open to comments. I'm glad that you guys really were concerned about me. I'm okay. None of that is true. I know y'all know, because I be telling y'all what be going on. You know what I'm saying? Even though I be frustrated, I'm a whole different person when people get in my car. I communicate well, all of that. I don't have to tell y'all that. You know what I'm saying? I'll let y'all know about my frustrations. I don't react on them. But I hope you guys have a great night. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Make sure you share it. Make sure you like my new page, which is called I'm Just Saying. Go to my YouTube video, my YouTube channel, and subscribe. It's called I'm Just Saying as well. And I will check with y'all again. Peace out. Thank you guys for all the concerns.